thing. Oh, hello guys! I forgot I'm live. I'm live. We're just doing some minor tech stuff before we continue. And actually, I think we are about done. So, um, anyways, why don't you talk? Anyways, what is basically going on is I am going to be making a what's it called? I am going to be making a music video, or I am going to be making like some of the assets and maybe doing a little bit of animation for a music video for my Auditions mashup, and I am going to be showing off how I am some small little shortcuts and stuff that might help along the way. And I'm also going to go ahead and bring up some of the assets that I currently have. And why don't you explain what you're doing?
I am going to watch and listen. Maybe play some Akia while I watch you.
Yeah, yeah, she wants to. You want me to use your real name? Or
Dauntless works.
Dauntless? Okay.
Dauntless is my real name.
Your real name just showed up on the. It's just showed up on the stream, so we might as well.
Well, no, I mean Dauntless is my real name.
Dauntless.
Yeah, Madeline is my first name, but Dauntless is my middle name.
Dauntless is okay. Dauntless. Anyways, Dauntless here.
Just because I'm using my work email doesn't mean that my name isn't Dauntless.
Yeah. I'm just trying to show her how I tend to go about stuff, and let's just see how this goes. Anyways, right here, this is going to be the focal point of the little music video / visualizer that I currently have. This is the what was the name of it? It's a cryptid, whose name I forget. It was like not Streetwalker, Nightcrawler, the Fresno Nightcrawler. Yeah.
This sounds like something you should have had ready.
No, I knew it was a Fresno. I didn't have.
No, I'm calling you out.
Bear. Fresno Nightcrawler on the popsicle stick. This little joint that we have right here is actually a picture of a ball bearing, because I could not figure out what those little golden paper joints are called in real life. So I just looked at ball bearing. I changed the. This is that. Well, I'm going to basically turn this in just a pin.
Yep.
In After Effects, I'm just going to kind of loop a walk cycle with this thing. Over here we have another one that was just working on. It's just a city. I was just coloring it, and let me bring up some of the other things. That's not the right folder.
So is it easier to draw and color in After Effects than it is to do so in Photoshop?
This is all Photoshop right now.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure whether you were using Photoshop or After Effects right now.
No, I'm using Photoshop for my drawing. I might end up switching back over to Metabang Paint, but I think I downloaded the version that had like the I think I downloaded the wrong version, so like every time I open it up, it's really pixely, which is really hard when you're working with something visual. So So for now, I'm using After Effects.
Oh hey, guess what?
What?
I just now got accepted to the university.
Oh, sweet.
I know. I'm so happy, and I'm so excited to be in debt. I've never been so excited to be in debt.
Over. Just, I don't know. Nice. Over here. I mean, I feel like I should add something to that, I guess, because that is a pretty big deal.
I know. I'm really happy. The only thing that can make this day better is if I find a job. But you know what? I'll settle for the university.
Over here, we have some trees. I have a little forest in mind that I am going to be building with these trees. These
So
are
where'd you
all.
get that texture?
Where did I get this texture?
Yeah. Was it
All
part
I
of
do,
Photoshop or did you just find it?
I just found it. All I do, paper texture, images, and then tools, usage rights, labeled for reuse. And further, I also tried to like stack several of them on top of each other. So, say we get this one, and then we get say this one. This is not one I want to use, but then we get it anyways. I'm just going to like change the if I change the if I change it to like a multiply over here, I can't remember what the technical term for this little box was. Uh, but if I change it to a multiply, it shows it it became slightly transparent. I think there's like a specific way to do it. What it basically ends up looking like is it essentially looks like you overlaid the image on top of the other image. And I'll just like stack several textures on top of each other and mess with the colors to get a specific texture and specific color, as I did here. So all those trees that we have over here, those are all multiple textures just stacked on top of each other. Did that make sense? Because I feel like I just spouted a whole bunch of gibberish.
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Very good explanation.
One thing that okay, so in order to like show off the actual process, one thing that I was working that I'm only partially finished with, in terms of that, in terms of assets, is this little power line thing. What I am I'll actually just go ahead and redraw it because I don't like this one. Because okay, so long story short, with Photoshop and just drawing with any screen in general, there's always going to be always going to feel different than like drawing on paper. And it's always faster to draw on paper than it is in Photoshop. So there are a few shortcuts that I do in order to make this little power line thing. Here is how I would go about it if I had the right layer open. I would just draw the worst line possible. That is not a good line. Just like draw that, and then I would just draw this. And then I would go layer, duplicate layer, edit, transform, flip horizontal, drag it, maybe rotate it a little bit so it looks more like a proper rectangle. Like that. Layer, merge down, move it to the center, and then maybe edit, transform, and distort it just a little bit if you want to get it like absolutely straight. And if we want to finish the rectangle, all we do is we duplicate this layer again, and we just rotate it the other way. layer, apply, layer, merge down. Now say we want to color it. Well, first things first, um, the most obvious way of doing it is the most obvious way of doing it is you try to like, you can do that, but you can do that and it's not going to turn out good. You can change the brush size, maybe get something a little bit more solid with it. And you know, I suppose Mozart, and you know, that's not going to look good. If you want to get more technical, you could hold on. If you want to get technical, it'd be good. Shrink it down and try to stay within the lines, but that doesn't work either. Or at least I don't like it. So what I've recently been doing, especially since I joined Psych2Go as an animator, is I've been selecting the inside, select, and then I've been going over here to select, modify, expand. I have it set to 3 pixels. It will expand the little selection thing. I will make a new layer, get the color that I want, fill it in, and then bring it back below the outline layer. And there you have it, a full solid line without any of the like weird artifacts that you get with the paint bucket tool normally. At least that's how I would that's how I've been doing it recently. So I'm going to go ahead and make the little top parts of it.
Is that sort of what they told you to do in school, or is that something you figure out on your own?
That's something I figured out on my own because whenever you use the paint bucket, it just creates a whole bunch of artifacts. And I've been painting with a paintbrush for quite a while. But eventually, when it came to Psych2Go, I was like, I really don't want to be coloring everything in white with the paintbrush. So I've been using the select tool to make things easier on me. So, so I'm just going to make the little top parts, and actually, because this is a smaller part, I'll just go ahead and draw just half of it instead of just like a quarter of it. And I'll even add the little ball thing at the end. And erase the little things there. Make that line just a little bit. Layer, duplicate layer, edit, transform, put more horizontal. Layer, merge down. Now with something like this where you have like 3 areas that you need to color, instead of selecting the inside like that, I'm going to select the outside, select inverse, and then select, modify, contract, and take it in by 3 as opposed to out. And then I get the bucket tool, move the layer below, and there we have it.
Very nice.
So what's been going on with you recently?
I was trying to figure out LUA. I kind of told you a little bit about it. It's not really a code that I've ever used before. I hadn't even really heard of it before I started playing Akia. It's kind of the only thing that makes it difficult is that it uses a lot of shorthand, which I'm sure makes it really easy for the actual code, but it makes it really difficult to just sort of jump in on because I mean, I don't, I'm like looking at some of this stuff and I just have no idea what I'm even looking at. I'm talking like letters and numerals and symbols all lumped together into one huge combobulation, and it's just a shorthand code for something that would in any other code probably take a lot longer to type, but in this it's just like shorthand. So you see that a lot in LUA, at least from my from when I'm looking at and trying to um translate it into doing what I want isn't easy. I've been trying to kind of focus on what I know and kind of like there's a lot from Java and C++ that you can just sort of carry over to LUA, but you can't. I'm quickly finding out that no, you can't just let that carry you. You have to use the shorthand at some point, and so that's sort of what I'm having problems with. I half want to give up because it's just becoming so difficult, and I'm not really sure how I can learn this because I feel like I've read all the tutorials and I've used every resource I could find. I guess if I put a little more time into it, then I could probably suss it out. But now I'm looking at some other ways to make triggers to do the things that I want.
Mm. I mean, like I've always heard, learning to code is basically like learning another language.
Well, I mean, it is learning another language, but the good thing about learning to code is that most of these code languages are sort of similar. But they, of course, they all have their quirks, and it's the quirks that really trip me up.
Okay,
Also, I
so
have trouble with the organization, but that's true with any language I learn. I'm having trouble. I have trouble with learning new grammar, sort of generally, and I'm having some trouble figuring out how to order things in a way that the computer can make sense of. So that's another thing that sort of holds me back, I think.
so what I am going to do right here is I want a slight border around the drawing. So I selected all of the areas on the outside of the line drawing. Um, I am going to go to select, inverse, and then select, modify, expand. Uh, let's say 12 because I do want an actual like real um, uh, paper border around it as opposed to just like hiding something. Yeah, that's nice and visible. And I am going to go back to select. I am going to invert that yet again, and I am going to go to the texture layer, and I am going to edit.
Oh
And
my
there,
gosh, that looks so good.
and there we have
That
a
was magic.
there we have a power line. Um, before I go into some actual animation, I think there is one thing I probably need to draw, and I think I need to draw a car. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Just something completely from scratch. I have a little preset over here called limited animation. It's 4,000 pixels by 2,250 pixels. It's twice as large as your standard standard widescreen video. What I usually do is I draw in this, so I have a lot of space to draw in, and I can use bigger brushes, and then I shrink it back down in After Effects into the actual size. So for this, hey guys, quiet.
They have some things to say. You
I
can't put
clearly
them
have
down
things
like
to
this.
say. So let's start with something that I've been having to draw a lot ever since I joined Psych2Go, and that's a
It's
circle.
people, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's usually what these are for, but it's always a circle, and I hate drawing circles in Photoshop. So
Oh
I just
yeah,
draw
I
half of
bet.
it. Yeah, and see, it's already not that good. But I mean, this is honestly just something you kind of have to power through. If I really want to be lazy, what I can do, see how there's still a few spots in there that
Hey,
are
wait. Are you sure they don't have a stencil?
a
So you can
stencil.
just sort of draw a pencil? So you can just sort of draw a circle?
Well, yeah, they do. They do. I can always do that. I
I was
don't
gonna
like
say.
doing that personally because it's too perfect, and I'm trying to go for a hand drawn thing.
Mm.
So I do want to get a hand drawn thing, but drawing circles in Photoshop is still a really irritating process. So we still have all these little holes in here, and this actually goes for any line. But in order to fill in those holes, uh, we
Well,
select the
I was gonna
outside.
suggest that you just have a circle on one layer, and then do your hand drawn circle on the other layer, and then you can just sort of trace over the circle, but I mean you're still bound to make mistakes, so you'll still have that hand drawn feel.
Maybe this is just how I've been doing it, and then I just uh, why am I using the brush? With the little after selecting the entire thing and then select inverse, I now have a little selection thing around the what's the word, the outside, the border, whatever it is, of the black line shape, and I just filled it in, all of it.
So you
Layer.
just sort of in general, you just do all the props in Photoshop, and then you save them to individual files and transfer them over to After Effects.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll use Illustrator. I'll especially use Illustrator if like a background's really complex. Because Illustrator was designed to be used with a mouse. So it's a lot easier than that. Though it's also going to not look hand drawn at all, but you give some, you take some. Maybe we'll get to Illustrator in a bit because there's some buildings that would be much better to be illustrated in Illustrator than they would be in Photoshop.
I want to get you, me, and a guy who likes Flash, and I want to get us all in the chat together, and I want him to defend Flash for us. That's what I
Okay,
want more than anything. If we have another session, we need to do that.
that sounds like an interesting idea. I am perfectly willing to have this guy on. Here I'm
We're open minded. We're willing to see the viewpoints of other people.
yeah. For the record, I do not like Flash.
Yeah, neither
Flash
do I.
is a terrible program seems designed in these that seems very unintuitive design wise. Please excuse my dogs. They're barking for their owners to come back home from this party thing. But so right now we're just waiting for them. Also, it might rain soon, so they're inside. Look at this beautiful, not perfect half circle. I
I was
might,
told they call that a crescent.
yeah, I might end up just maybe it might be to my benefit to just save a whole bunch of different variations of circles because I have to use them constantly, and they're not as easy to do as as lines are. At least in my opinion. I'm sure there's someone out there who can do like beautiful circles in Photoshop. That person's not me. So trying to make as best a circle as we can. layer, merge down, and then take out the weird parts.
Look at that beautiful, not perfect circle.
Okay.
So right now I'm drinking a cinnamon whiskey with frozen cherries instead of ice cubes. It's pretty good. But I've only had like maybe 5 sips, and I'm already getting pretty sleepy.
I'm drinking tea.
Did you learn nothing in college?
My college was a dry campus, believe it or not.
I can't believe this. You're a square.
I just duplicated the circle, and I'm putting it inside the other circle. And there we have basically the start of a wheel. Let's put a and let's just draw something just that. There. There's our wheel. It's probably not at all like what real wheels look like. It's probably not going to roll that well, but in After Effects, it'll be magical. So I selected the outside, inverse, select, modify, contract, and we color that white. Okay. Merge down. Now let's string the wheel. And let's let's rotate it so that when we actually bring it into After Effects and we animate this thing, uh, it's not going to look like they're going to be slightly out of sync with each other when it comes to the rotations. Like they're going to be rotating at the same rate, but it's less obvious that they're the same exact drawing. So there we have two wheels. Now for the actual car itself. What kind of car should it be? Hello, you there? Hold on. Okay, Motod, Dauntless just put her Motod muted her microphone for whatever reason, so I'm just going to continue on without her until she gets back. Yeah, let's draw a probably not that good looking car. Yeah. Rather unfortunately, cars are not very symmetrical, at least from the side. So, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll make this into a truck. Like if you I'll make this into like a delivery truck or something. One down here is a little on the thicker side. Here is another. Oh shit. Let me fix this for a second. Edit, cut, edit, paste, and let me move this down here. Here is another little hat that I currently work with. If I need a much longer shape, I just select the two prongs at the end of a rectangle, and then I just elongate it. And that way, this little thing over here doesn't stretch out with everything else. Select, select, deselect, layer, duplicate layer, okay, edit, transform, flip horizontal, and then we move this over to where we want it. Hello, you're back.
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
Ah,
My mom called.
okay, fair. I was just making the backside of the truck.
So what's this video about?
This video is not for Psych2Go. This video is a video for my auditions mashup.
Oh, right. You said that. And
Yes.
this is for a music video. Is that right?
Yeah, basically. And I'm trying to make puppets out of everything. So layer, merge down. We have the backside of a truck. Let's do the little. What are the things that are like on top of the wheels? I can't remember the name.
There's the hub, the tire, the tread.
Oh.
Oh, I see. The fender.
Yeah, the fender. That's it. That's it. I'm just going to draw that really quickly and.
More you know, GI Joe. Same thing as it's called a fender when it's on a bike too.
Hmm.
Ikea is pretty great because it really meshes that role playing aspect with just it's really social too. I flirted with a girl and I got saved by a boy and he got me last minute and he gave me back like I lost all my gold too because some orc had it's called a knoll but it's essentially an orc had killed me. He killed me and all my gold was just were on the floor there and I was just kind of face palming because I didn't put it away. And when I went back when I woke up in the reset, there he was with all my gold.
Ah.
I play a jester that with a and I can make I can with a lot of really cool powers. I can make a voodoo doll and I can give people I can make people sick or I can control their minds from afar. I can do all kinds of crazy fucking things. Um, and I have a tarot deck, and when all of my tarot cards have different powers. I can make a I can slap down a the chariot down on the floor and then a giant chariot will rise out of it and I get to ride it around. I also can make balloon animals. I similarly I can make a I can inflate a balloon giraffe and ride it around. It's freaking amazing. I think this is my favorite class I've ever done.
I am just warp distorting this little why am I forgetting the word again?
Bender.
Fender.
Think of Bender.
Yeah. just distorting it to make it more round, and I'm selecting, and now I'm just going to color it in.
Text adventures aren't really your thing, though.
No, they usually aren't.
Is it the typing or is it the role play?
For the most part, I'm not just big into get into games in general. I think the sole exception was every time you had like a role playing campaign, like the actual
Oh, okay.
tabletop game. That I
Oh, what a great compliment! You liked mine, though.
Yeah, I like yours.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and I look forward to doing it again.
Mm.
Uh, it's just that in general, I'm not really big on video games, which um uh you know is maybe maybe makes me a little bit of an outlier in terms of like the type of demographic that I am
Well,
actually a
it's not
part
really a
of.
video game though. It's not quite. It's not. I guess it's not. I guess I see where you're coming from, but it's not really quite the same. And
True.
it's not as though you dislike all games.
No, I mean like see I don't know like hmm, what's the best way of saying this? Okay, so like a long time ago, like way back when I was in elementary school.
Tell me about your childhood.
Yeah, yeah, we're going into that kind of
We're
stuff.
going deep into your memories. Watch the swinging monocle.
Um, what it basically came down to was I did used to play a few video games. The video game that I grew up playing quite a lot of was Kingdom Hearts, because Disney. And my parents my parents had this thing where they said that I could get a video game every time I got like every time I got like a really good report card.
Oh no. They gave they ruined video games.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that. I was going
They
to say,
did though. They gave you a bad connotation for video games because it meant you had to get good grades and you couldn't necessarily you can't always necessarily get good grades. Good grades aren't something you can control. It's dependent on luck, on things like luck and what teacher you have and whether you're good at a particular subject. I can't believe your parents ruined video games.
I mean, I guess another thing is
No
like
wonder you're the way you are. That was a joke.
I am there was a stream where I did get like a where I did have like a really good year and I had a plenty of good grades. And instead of getting me a video game, my parents got me a computer.
Computer, more games.
Well, I mean, it was also, I should mention, it was a really old it was an old Apple computer, and this was a time when Apple didn't have too many games on it. So what I usually ended up doing with it quite a bit was I started messing around with iMovie, and I also mess around with this little app that they don't that's long since been discontinued called
I can't believe I'm hearing your tragic backstory of how
Apple
you
Works.
got into animation. Your tragic Batman backstory.
Yeah,
About how your
that's
parents ruined video games for you and you had no choice, you were forced into animation.
well. I mean, like
And
it
now
also
you
gave
stalk the knights.
it also like introduced me to Garage Band, and that's where I started making music. So,
And now you stalk Reddit for villains while you make music.
What?
I said now you stalk Reddit for villains while you make music like Batman.
I am going to make the. I don't like this truck being blank. What should I write on it?
Um, Stupid Express.
Stupid Express it is.
Mangoes for bangos.
That'll be the
Ding
subtitle.
dongs for ding dongs.
That'll be the Mangoes for Bangos will be the subtitle. And then
And then Ding
maybe
Dongs for Ding Dongs will be my first album.
maybe with luck, somebody's going to see this out of place logo, and they are going to look into it, and they are going to think I am making some kind of commentary.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's when the race all the racist messages come in. Oh, I'm sorry, ableist. Definitely ableist.
I got that for I got that for saying a really silly Steven Universe headcanon somewhere.
What was your headcanon?
I mean, not headcanon. It was like a weird like shipping post.
Oh.
I just did a joke about what's
sometimes
was it
dogs
Leggy?
Sound like they're barking, but sometimes your dogs sound like they're yelling like a person.
They miss their mother. And I am going to write Mangoes for Bangos.
I'm sort of an abomination. I like watching videos where other people play video games.
Well, I mean, so does my little brother. He doesn't have men. Yeah, so does my little brother. So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people do that. And what's I've sampled Markiplier before, so I'm not exactly sure on that either.
I can barely hear you, my dude.
Games.
Your dogs are loud.
Quiet. It's gonna be okay. They're gonna be home soon.
I don't think they believe you.
Hold on 1 second. Entertain the masses.
Let us entertain you. Let us make you smile.
Okay, over here. Sit. Sit.
My
what do
dad
you want?
watched my dad watched Cirque du Freak, the movie on Netflix last night.
I don't know what you want.
And he's the only person in existence that has ever liked that movie. So now I don't know what to think about him.
Go to the kitchen. Go to the kitchen.
They sound like they're right up in the microphone, and it's hilarious. I saw a guy the other day that I hadn't seen for 3 years, and even then I didn't even know him all that well. I met him in passing while I was playing a board game at the local toys and games shop, and he was just like, he just remembered me, which, I mean, by the way, is not new for me. Once I had a guy, I was working at a storage unit facility, and one of our customers recognized me from a time I had once served him at an IHOP 3 years ago. This happens all the time. I don't think it's a matter of just living in a town all your life. That might be part of it, but Austin is pretty big. Apparently my voice is just like really recognizable, and so is my face. All I know is that I could never ever become a criminal. The cops will find me immediately.
What I walk into here?
I was entertaining the masses.
Clearly. So, something about you being a criminal?
Something like that.
Okay, now I just need to. What?
I'm just laughing at the long silence before you got started.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to, I am just going to draw the front of the car now. Or the truck, in this case. Why am I. That's not the brush I wanted. Wrong tool. What though? The front of the truck, it's a lot of the same repeated shape that I'm thinking of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this here, layer, duplicate it, move that here, and let's duplicate it yet again. Layer, duplicate layer. That's not what I wanted to do. And let's shrink this down. Draw a line there. Let's turn off some of these other layers so I can see what I'm doing. And layer, duplicate layer. And let's merge them all. And let's delete the extra lines. And see, there, now we have the front of the car. Truck. Select, modify, invert.
Might want to give it some headlights.
Okay, I'll add some of that. And headlights. Select, deselect. For a headlight, let's do. That's white. The horizontal. Layer, merge down. Select, modify, expand. 3. Color it in as white. That's black. That's white. Layer, merge down. Headlights. Okay, so I'm going to tilt my screen back up, and I'm going to rearrange all these layers the way I wanted to. So I'm switching from my pen to my mouse. That way I can also label it. And then after I save these, we should be able to bring everything into After Effects. Okay, headlight. Layer. Merge visible. And that should leave us with the fender. Front fender. Front wheel. Truck. Back fender. Back wheel. And actually, we can probably put the two fenders together. It'll be easier that way. And so now we have a few different layers here for a puppet. We have the fenders, we have the two wheels, and we have the truck itself. So let's go ahead and hmm. Okay, so this one probably doesn't need the little border thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a texture on top of it. So let's just look up some textures. I feel like I've used this texture like a billion times. Stretch that over it. Oh, let's actually bring it down as well. Because we'll be using the same texture for the wheels. Copy image, edit, a special paste in place. And let's change the transparency to multiply. And let's get like one more texture. Here's a good one. Edit, paste. And multiply. Merge those layers. And let's Hey Mala, what do you what color do you think this should be? Dauntless. Let's make it red. Oh, that's good. And so I duplicated the oh, I probably need 4, 5. 5 layers of that. Hey, quiet. Oh, looks like Madeline is gone. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to try to cut around this try to select, modify, contract, 3. Oh. Select, inverse, select, modify, contract, 3. Select, inverse, delete. And now we have a red car, a red truck. Select, inverse, select, modify, contract, RE, select, inverse. Modify, contract. It's the wrong layer. And we have a truck. Oh, whoops. Looks like there's little things that didn't get deleted earlier, so I'm going to just delete that. And in order to make sure that it doesn't happen again, select, deselect, Control A, image adjustments, image crop. And yeah. So let's go ahead and change some of the colors because we don't want it to be the same red. So image adjustments, brightness and contrast. Made that darker. Image adjustments, brightness and contrast. Let's bring that brightness up. And image adjustments, brightness and contrast. Bring that brightness up. And now we have ourselves a car. So let's get a little popsicle stick or something. I'm just going to look up popsicle stick. And labeled for reuse. So let's find one that works really well. There's a lot of clip art I can see. I think I'll use this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is the same one I used the last time for the other image. Edit, copy, edit, 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 paste. And we only need one. Select, modify, inverse, delete. Select, deselect. Let's take off the weight. Let's rotate this so that it's straighter. Let's enlarge it just a bit. And let's also make the stick longer. So for this, because we're using an actual photographic element as opposed to something I drew, I'm just going to select the top of it. I'm going to go to select, modify, not modify, select and mask. I'm going to feather it just a bit. Then I'm going to click edit, cut, edit, paste. And then I'm going to bring that up here. Then I'm going to take this other part of the popsicle stick, and I'm going to do something very similar. Gonna feather it just a bit. I'm going, instead of cutting it, I am going to copy it. Copy. Then I'm gonna paste it. And we can do it again. And now our popsicle stick has been elongated. Image adjustments, hue, saturation. Let's change it to, that's good. Move it down somewhere here. The silly thing is I'm probably not going to use this top part or whatever. Move that to the back. And let's go ahead and just merge it to the back because, yeah, And there we have the Stupid Express, Mangoes for Bangos. I'm going to pause for a moment and check up on Dauntless. For various reasons, Dauntless, Dauntless had to leave, so I'll just continue the stream without her. I'm not sure there's much to say, so I'll just go ahead and mute my microphone now, unless you want to hear like dogs barking and all this stuff.